I read an article today on USA Today, something that's very disturbing. It reported that the police in East St. Louis, Illinois, is investigating allegations of abuse of up to 4 children ages 4 to 5 years old that attend the Southern Illinois University of Edwardsville Jackie Joyner Kersey's Head Start program. 2 teachers have forced preschoolers who were having behavioral problems strip naked and stand in a closet for up to 10 minutes. The article says that one teacher made the children strip naked and stand in the closet while the other teacher stood guard. And the police report that this had been occurring since February, but was reported just last week. Can you believe that crap? That's why I say I worked for a Head Start program. Parents have to be vigilant. You have to be very watchful. Although things like this can occur not only in the Head Start program, which is a federally funded program, but yeah, it doesn't say how this information came out, but they are in some big trouble. And the teachers right now are on paid administrative leave. It's about having a love for working with children. And the killer is, in order to work for Head Start, as with other programs working with children or other adults in programs, background checks are done on them. I know for the jobs that I have worked in preschool, we get background checks done on us every 6 months. Child abuse, neglect, and criminal background checks. In addition, a new thing that was started about a year ago, we're also fingerprinted. So that just shows you the things that can go on in preschools. If they are found guilty, they could possibly be charged. And if they are found guilty, they need to be charged. And if I was, oh my God, a parent, and that was my child, I found out that was being forced to strip naked, and then you put my baby in a closet, even if the door is open. What kind of crap is that? Who would even come up with that? Plus, in preschool, there's no such thing as a punishment. You don't punish children. You're not allowed to punish children. There are other ways that this is dealt with, behavioral issues, in addition to informing their parents. You can sit them out for a few minutes and then talk to them about their behavior and what will be acceptable and unacceptable behavior. But that's as far as you go. So I hope that further information will be posted regarding this case. And I don't know, parents, I guess this is another situation which it shows that parents need to be more involved in the program. And I know with Head Start, parents are required, I'm not going to say it's mandatory, but they are required to volunteer at least 4 hours a month in the program. And as I've always told parents when they enroll their children into the program, and I talk about volunteering, that not only are you looking out for your child, but you're looking out for other people's children. And it gives you an opportunity to get to know all of the staff. So hopefully a lesson will be learned from this incident, and parents will start saying, I need to, maybe on my lunch break, stop by. I need to volunteer when I'm off work, when I'm out of school. The focus nowadays is not just academics, but building strong social and emotional skills in children. What effect do you think this will have on these children? Let me know what you think about this. What's scary to me, what are the chances that you would have two fools in the same classroom? There's no damn way, if I was the other teacher, the guard, that I would tolerate this. But what I think I would do in order to have evidence, I would let this teacher proceed with having this other child to take off their clothes, or she take off their clothes, whichever way that would occur, so that I could report that and have evidence. In the Head Start program I worked in, there were cameras in every class, although there was no audio. And I think camera with audio is very important, as I've stated in a video that I did a while ago on nursing facilities. Because sometimes it's not just physical, sexual, it can be verbal abuse. But once that person followed through with what they were going to do or were doing, I would immediately, number one, stop them, and then contact the center manager. And then I would proceed with placing a child abuse neglect hotline call. But what are the chances that you got two fools in the same classroom that don't give a damn about children? Always refer to the children, regardless of race, creed, color, religion, as my little sugar boogers. And although I did not work in the classroom, I had ongoing contact with the children. And I know that some of them did have behavioral issues. But if you aren't qualified to work with children with behavioral problems, you shouldn't be in the job. Did you see the Wendy Williams show on the 20th? I think that was what? Today, Thursday. I think it was yesterday where she revealed that she is currently staying in a sober house in New York, that she has relapsed. If you don't know, years ago, she informed the audience that she was addicted to cocaine and I think some other drugs back in the day. But now she has relapsed. And she stood up and cried and said that, backstory, if you don't know, if you don't watch the Wendy Williams show, she's been off the air before Christmas, almost 2 months, but she had said she has grave disease, and she had started coming to work wearing a sling, and she said that it was the result of her grave disease. But rumors start going around that they think her husband had abused her, because there's been allegations for a couple of years now that her husband is having an affair, and he has a mistress, and he had purchased a home for his mistress down the street from where they live. And when they came out, and the different tabloids were investigating to see if this story was true, they were taking pictures of him and this girl out hanging out, and pictures of their home. Kevin moved her somewhere else. And so now, when Wendy was coming to work with a sling on, the speculation was he abused her. So she was off the show for like 2 months, as I was saying, and she returned about 2 weeks ago to the show. But she would not discuss the rumors about her husband having a mistress, and not just having a mistress, but there were allegations that his mistress is pregnant again and showing. So she made another statement like she did back in the past. Everything's fine in the Huntersville. That's her last name, or her married name. This time when she came back, she basically said, when you don't see the ring on my finger, then you know that I'm no longer married. But she wasn't going to address any issues related with her relationship. And now it's reported by Daily Mail that prior to Wendy going into the sober house in New York, because she was basically forced to come back to her show, or she was going to lose her show. They had guests like Nick Cannon and Sherry Shepherd and a host of others who were doing her show while she was out, supposedly due to being ill. But they said that she had to return to the show. So, according to the Daily Mail, they had contacted Wendy prior to her show yesterday to let her know that this report was going to be coming out yesterday regarding her living in a sober house. And so Wendy was deceitful with the audience, as if she was just opening up on her own. But in fact, it was because the Daily Mail was going to post this information, which they did. And it's saying, and there's that when she was off work, she went into a rehab in Florida. And while she was in that rehab, Kevin, that's her husband, brought his girlfriend along. So the girlfriend and him are on vacation while he's there off and on visiting Wendy. And they show pictures of him and the girlfriend on what appears to be a beach. You can't truly say that it was Florida, but to show pictures of the two of them, and the girlfriend is giving a peace sign out. I don't know if she's called cameras watching or what, but she's showing the peace sign while Kevin is laying on the lounge chair, all cool and collective. It's been speculated that Wendy Williams' relapse into pills and alcohol addiction is due to the affair that her husband is having. But yeah, so this is what's happening. Wendy is not being honest, although she has been, her show is all about exposing other celebrities and what go on in their house and in their marriages and in their relationship. And she's often have made comments like about Nick Cannon and Mariah Carey when they got married. She couldn't understand why Mariah would be marrying Nick Cannon. It's not gonna last. And a lot of other celebrities have been pissed off at her over the years, getting on TV and talking about their personal business. Not that she knew all the facts, but that she would be on TV trying to expose them. And here she is in her personal life. These rumors have been going around for 2 years, and there's been evidence with photos of him with this other woman. In the Daily Mail, it was also reported that Wendy Williams had hired a private investigator on her husband and his mistress. So she knows the facts. She's just not disclosing that information to us. In most cases, she would have a right not to, but given the job where she's made her a millionaire, exposing other people's business, it's only right that she expose her business. She has the audacity to say that she's not going to discuss her personal life. This reminds me of a book that I read many years ago, and you all should read it. It's called Homemade Love. It has several short stories, but this one story talks about this lady who was in all her neighbors' business. She knew who was having affairs, but what their children were doing, but she was never telling what was going on in her own house. In fact, her husband was having an affair, and her daughter had gotten pregnant. But you have to read it. It's by J. California. I can't remember her last name, but I'll put it posted on the screen. But J. California for sure, she's an African-American author. But yeah, Wendy, and oh my God, and I got to tell you regarding Wendy, since she been back last week, she was talking about Howard Stern, and I'm sure you all know who he is. And Howard Stern has always been known for being very outspoken, just like Wendy. But she was talking about, he has a new book out. So basically she was promoting his book, and she spoke about how he, along with Oprah Winfrey, were two people that were inspirations to her when she got into the business. But then she turned around and dogged this man out, talking about basically this book wasn't going to be anything new. Ever since he went to Hollywood, he's not the same. He's not like her any longer. I think it's not verbatim, reporting about the people, but being a part of Hollywood. And that basically in this book, she was basically saying it's not going to be anything new or exciting. And baby. But then she said, basically by the book. So she was complimenting him and then tore him down. And when I tell you, as young folks say, Howard Stern read her, he talked about everything but her mama. And he went on and on for about 30 to 40 minutes talking about her. And he didn't hide that he was pissed. He was pissed. He talked about, one of the things he talked about was the fact that she had her nerve talking about him going Hollywood, and she walking around with those big fake breasts, and talked about how she needs to be focused on her cheating husband having an affair. But he went on and on and on. And a lot of people were saying that they thought that Howard Stern was wrong. Especially a lot of African Americans thought that he went too far, talking about this black woman the way he did. I mean, he described her, baby, went off, her body shape, everything. But I disagree. Howard Stern is in the same business she in. He's just still on radio, but he's well known. She knew when she went for Howard Stern, she knew there's no bars. What do they call that? There's no bars hold. In other words, just like her, they know Howard Stern will say any and everything. He's well known for it. Howard Stern is known as the shock jock. So that says it all. And I disagree. Wendy Williams been dogging people out forever. And a lot of times when you watch her show and she's talking about celebrities, you name them, she's had negative things to say about them. Even the audience sometimes will go, whoa, she be going off so hard on celebrities and what's going on in their life. She deserve it. I don't give a shit if she's black, white, what her gender is. She went for him, and then he went for her harder. No, I disagree. If you come for somebody, this is one of the things as a female, that's crap, because you a woman, you can get away with it. And a man needs to be cautious about what he says or does to you. No. You go for him, he can come for you. I'm not necessarily saying physically, but verbally, hell no. And then she affects his book sales. She was out of line. What do you guys think? Let me know, do you think that Howard Stern was wrong for coming at her in that very aggressive manner, although she started it? Leave a comment below. Why are teachers so poorly paid when everybody, Oprah Winfrey, Bill Gates, presidents of the United States, politicians, Jeff Bezos, the owner of Amazon, the wealthiest people in the world, everybody goes through a teacher in their life in the United States. So why aren't they more highly respected and well paid? Let me know what you think. Everybody, have a good one. And please leave comments below.